How would you like to unlock the secrets to achieving success and financial freedom at any age? Well, in this video, I'm going to reveal the game-changing strategies that could change your life. Make sure to stay to the end because there's valuable information throughout. So The Millionaire Fast Lane is by MJ DeMarco, this book. And it's just a entrepreneurship and financial book that's kind of unique to the other financial books and business books because it's talking about how to make wealth nowadays. Like I've said before, Think and Grow Rich is another financial book which is great, but it's very outdated. It was wrote in 1950 or something, but it's got all the fundamentals of psychology and it's still there, but it's not exact and to this day. So anyway, here first I'm going to start with all the summary, and then I'm going to go through my tags. As you can see, there's a few and things I've highlighted like quotes. So the slow lane versus the fast lane. So DeMarco distinguishes between two paths of wealth, which is slow lane and fast lane. He also talked about sidewalk, but that's just near enough the same as slow lane, apart from it's people that need to instantly buy things all the time, liabilities they call it, like expensive cars when they're not actually earning that much, and watches, clothes, everything like that to try and look good. But anyway, the slow lane involves traditional financial planning, such as saving money, investing and working a steady job for many years. Actually, it's quite different then so the slow lane is how everyone says is how you get rich, invest in stocks and by the time you're 40 you'll have 4 million, which is not true because it's all based on things you can't control, like stock markets or housing markets or how much you actually earn from your job working all your years. So the slow lane is saving money, investing, working a steady job. The fast lane, on the other hand, is entrepreneurship endeavours, building businesses, buying businesses, selling businesses, investing in assets to try and generate a lot of money quickly, usually, instead of the slow lane, as they call it, of 40 years to earn money. And then the wealth equation, he introduced the wealth equation, which is net profit equals units sold times unit profit, and then asset value equals net profit times industry multiple. So your net profit is what you make from, I'm going to just explain it for people that don't actually understand. Units sold is per thing you sell, and then unit profit is how much you make per unit that you sell. And then he talks about the two ways of you either sell something that's fairly cheap to many people, like millions, or you sell something that's more expensive to fewer people, and that's the only way you can actually get rich, through selling things. DeMarco emphasised the importance of building businesses and building systems that can generate large net profits and that are scalable or rapidly scalable. So many people, when they start a business, they're just not scalable. For example, someone that wants to do a cleaning business, or someone that wants to, any service really that you're doing yourself, wants to wash cars or cut lawns, it's just not scalable. You're still directly linked to your time, and you can only do a certain amount of people. You're not worldwide or nationwide. You're only got a small amount of people you can actually give your service to. He talks a lot about need, not want, and also people that say do what you love. It doesn't always work if you mainly want to make money, because someone that loves baking and then opens a shop up baking their cakes, you're only going to get sales for the people that actually come in to buy your cakes, for example. And just because you love it, other people, it's sad in a way, but it's true, people don't care what you love or what you want. They just want to know what you can give to them. So you need to sell things that people need instead of what you want or what other people want. Then the wealth accelerators, he discusses several wealth accelerators, including automation, delegation, and business systems. These all help you achieve like rapid success through leverage. He then also talks about how important it is to have control, because even if you work with someone else on a big wage or high up, that you've got no control of what you do or what your company does. You don't decide the prices of things, so you have no control. And so you have to then own your own business, or you need to just be an entrepreneur in general rather than traditional employment. Then the sidewalk is poor financial choices and debt. The slow lane is characterised by traditional financial planning and long-term wealth accumulation, which he goes deeply into. I talked to my last video where I described what the sidewalk, slow lane and fast lane is, so you can watch that if you want up there. And then the fast lane is characterised by entrepreneurial ventures and rapid wealth creation. Slow lane is the most travelled lane as well, which I also talk about, and the thing most pushed as well. That's why most people do it. It's like the fake fast lane, what people think is how you make money, when it's not, because you see a lot of people, grey or bald people, driving their brand new cars about, their BMWs, their Bentleys, their Porsches, all that, and they've just saved the whole life savings to then buy a car that they can't really enjoy. The role of time. DeMarco argues that time is your most valuable asset and that you should focus on building wealth quickly rather than waiting till retirement. In essence, the Millionaire Fast Lane challenges conventional wisdom about wealth building and advocates for entrepreneurship, financial independence, and rapid wealth creation through businesses and business systems. It encourages readers to shift their mindset, because wealth is just a mindset, like everything about it. That's why he talks about slow lane, fast lane, sidewalk. Each one has its own mindset, its own psychology, and talk about that. That's the book I've now moved on to, that is called The Psychology of Money, and that's going to talk about like different people and how their mindset complements how they perceive wealth and all that, because there's people that can make a lot of money and still then lose it. There's people that can be given a load of money from nothing, like lotteries, and then lose it all. And then there's people that can just save or earn a lot and save it and not lose it, you know what I mean? So it encourages you to change your mindset from slow lane to fast lane so that you can achieve financial freedom and success in the future. And it's more of like depends what you're pursuing, but he says about 6 years to create masses of wealth. And you can either sell what you make or you can keep it running, that then brings you in monthly income. Now onto the book. So I'm going to try and fly through it because I don't want to waste your time. I'll just give you the valuable information I can quick. So first is just a quote. Normal is not something to aspire to, it's something to get away from. Now, Get Rich Slow, which talk about people who are within employment or that do stocks or sometimes that do property and just use their own money. Get Rich Slow demands a long life of gainful employment. Get Rich Slow is a losing game because it is codependent on Wall Street and anchored by your time. The real golden years of life are when you're young, sentient and vibrant. He talks about here, as a teenager, he never put together rich and young because you barely see it, and it's just how you're taught in school. What he says, early in life, he found out you have to give up on your dreams, get rich slow, made it abundantly clear. You go to school, get a good job, settle for less, sacrifice, be miserably, and quit dreaming about financial freedom, mountainside homes and exotic cars. But he still dreamed, and that's how it all starts with a dream. And it's just whether you pursue it or not. He briefly talks about, I'm going to briefly talk about it, but he talks about this encounter with a Lamborghini owner, how he always saw people with flash cars that were old, and this time he saw someone that was young, and he straight away thought, he must be a basketballer, a musician, all these things that not many people are, but then creates them a lot of wealth. And he just asked the guy what he does, and he said, I'm an inventor, which is very broad, but it was true. And that's how his wealth started, because he then started working out fast lane, slow lane, old people and exotic cars, fast lane, the few people that are young and rich. He talks about how he graduated from Northern Illinois University with 2 business degrees, And this is what I've talked about in videos before as well, that just because you've got degrees in business or you did business at A-level, business at GCSE, it teaches you nothing. I did it, and it just teaches you like definitions of words and talks about getting an employment or climbing the corporate ladder. It doesn't talk about business at all or entrepreneurship. So he talks about how that didn't help him. His friends were like, yeah, this is great, went into big jobs, talk about how they've got these great big jobs. And then obviously this guy, MJ DeMarco, went through the business path and found actual wealth. So if you're enjoying this, then definitely read the book, because it's just a summary. I'm just dipping into bits. But he talks about his first business, how he sold it for 1.2 million and then ended up spending like 900,000 of that because he didn't have the financial literacy and he just blew it all. And he was working like 60-hour weeks because he hadn't sorted out all his everything properly, so that he either had a system or had other people doing things. He was doing everything himself and just working himself to death. And that's what people talk about. People that are self-employed just end up working themselves to death. So he was making a lot, but he wasn't doing what he loved, and he was just slowly killing himself off. Now another quote: the journey of 1,000 miles must begin with one step. Now these are what each one leads to: sidewalk, poverty; slow lane, mediocrity; fast lane, wealth. This is a summary of one of the chapters, fast lane distinctions. A first-class ticket to the sidewalk is to have no financial plan. The sidewalk's natural gravitational pull is poverty, both in time and money. You cannot solve poor financial management with more money. You can be income rich and still ride the sidewalk dirty. If wealth is defined by income and debt, wealth is an illusion because it is vulnerable to potholes, detours and bumps in the road. When the income disappears, so does the illusion of wealth. Poor financial management is like gambling. The house eventually wins. I've talked about this in another video as well, but this is, people say money doesn't buy happiness, but does poverty. Someone that's poor can be happy and someone that's rich can be happy, just as someone that's poor can be sad and someone that's rich can be sad. There's no link between it, it's your mindset. And also, if you're poor and have no freedom, but then you're rich and you do have freedom, then it does buy happiness, because freedom buys happiness. So money buys freedom, freedom buys happiness. This is another chapter summary. The slow lane is a natural course correction from the sidewalk, evolving from responsibility and accountability. Wealth is best experienced when you're young, vibrant and able, not in the twilight of your life. The slow lane is a plan that takes decades to succeed, requiring masterful political prowess in a corporate environment, frugality and Wall Street wizardry. For the slow laner, Saturday and Sunday is the paycheck for Monday through Friday. The default return on your time in the slow lane is negative 60%, 5 for 2. The 5 for 2 trade inherit in the slow lane is generally fixed and cannot be manipulated because job standards are 5 days a week. The predisposed destination of the slow lane is mediocrity. Life isn't great, but it isn't so bad either. And that's why there's been all these many things added, like football and sports and all these different things to then take your mind off your work and fill your time up, but then you're just back there again constantly. And like I say, it's fill your mind so you don't think what a big problem this actually is. Another quote: by working faithfully 8 hours a day, you may eventually get to be the boss and work 12 hours a day. There's a big deception that people say that however much invested today will be worth millions in the future. Well, MJ DeMarco actually tried it out and he put 1,000 in stocks, and after 10 years it was at $698, so it had actually gone down. He said had he have invested 1 million, he'd have lost 400,000. Then talks about the slow lane is all just linked to your time in the market, time worked at a job, compound interest linked to time. And as I've said many times, there's only 24 hours in a day. You can't work all of them, but you can put your money to work to then work 24 hours a day. So time is just more like a bigger asset and more valuable than money. So why do so many people trade their time for money? I'd literally any day rather just have like barely anything but loads of time to do whatever I want than have loads and loads and loads of money but absolutely no time. And I've talked about that as well. I think it was my video on the 9-5, something to do with the 9-5, I think. And then this is an argument I've had for a while, where this guy, MJ DeMarco, just is spot on. He says, the slow lane, everyone's talking about how you need to save as much as you can, save today for a better tomorrow, and all this, but that just, why not make money like now so that you can have money now? You know what I mean? Why like shove it over 40 years down the line? So it says you can't take that trip because you've got to save this certain amount, and you can't buy your kid a decent pair of shoes, you can't own your dream car, you can't like do anything you want. You just have to sacrifice your today for the promise of tomorrow. Then he says about producing over consuming, and also that a business does not make a fast lane. Some businesses are jobs in disguise. Then he talks about how wealth acceleration can be massively done by your asset value. Your asset value can be many things. It can be because you have a direct link to many people, that means someone can then sell to many people. Or if you have a certain monthly income, like here it talks about someone that has 3 million profit a year, and in the end she sells a company for 21 million. So obviously she could work 7 more years to get that 21 million, but that's why people put like a big number on things to buy things, because that's what they want. Then I'm going to re-explain that part that I said about net profit equals units sold scale times unit profit magnitude. So as I said, units sold is per product, and that can be a little amount for the price, and then unit profit magnitude, that means you can then have like a expensive product but sold less times. And then it says about make a giant impact a few times or make a small impact millions of times. Now another quote, I really like this one as well. He who chooses the beginning of the road chooses the place it leads to. It is the means that determines the end, and if you don't choose your own road or your own journey, someone else will do it for you. Then another quote, this is by Seneca. Our plans miscarry because they have no aim. When a man does not know what harbour he is making for, no wind is the right direction. And that is that. So great book. It's the best finance book I've read for like the like up-to-date financial advice in a way. So as I said, if you like anything I said, if you want to learn anything more about that, then this is definitely the book you need for finance stuff. The Millionaire Fastlane by MJ DeMarco. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was good and informational for you. Good word that. And please like, subscribe, turn the notification button on to help me out a bit. I've helped you out with a bit of information, a good book to read. Anyway, thank you, and I will see you in the next one.